All right, so we have a new video from Laura Fryer. Now, you guys know who Laura Fryer is because yesterday we reacted to her video that you guys recommended to me the first time. And that video was her basically exposing the gaming industry for the same ideologies that we claim that they have, and they choose to ignore us when we talk about it. But when someone like Laura talks about it, suddenly it's okay and it's recognizable. But it's a good thing that she's speaking out against it regardless because it's important. It's a conversation that we need to keep having. Well, there's a video that she has on her channel that she just released 2 days ago. And it's called The Games Industry Elephant. And it's something that all of you were tagging me in. You were sending me messages. You were like, hey, you got to watch this video. Watch this video. If you like the other one, watch this one. It's important, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I listen to you guys. I listen to you guys all the time. And we're going to check it out. And let's see what she's got to say. I know she showcases clips of Avowed in here, so I believe she talks about Avowed and whatnot. But I'm liking the content coming out from her. And it's not because she agrees with us. It's quite simply because she's speaking honestly and openly about what's happening. And as a game developer, that's very rare these days. You don't really see that too much, right? And she also says things from her particular side that's not necessarily from our side either, so it makes it even more interesting. So let's actually watch the video. It's called Games Industry Elephant. I'm going to link it in the chat right now. For those of you, if you like the content, you are more than welcome to subscribe to her channel. Check it out and see what else she has in store. So here we go. And for those of you who don't know who she is, she was a big time over on Gears of War, and she's worked on some other IPs as well. She's been around the gaming industry for a while. So let's go. Let's see. I'm going to fix my avatar in the meantime.
When I started playing video games, it was a fun pastime where you connected with family and friends. Game developers were passionate. They put their heart and soul into their games because they knew if they could land a hit, they could do it again. Sometimes this is called the Pinball Motivation. Opinions about games were...
Some of you are saying, consider inviting her to SNH. Trust me, I will reach out and I will try. But, sometimes our aggressive nature is not for everyone, especially women.
Freely shared, and everyone enjoyed the discussion. After all, it's just games. Sadly, this is not the world we live in today. Gaming is surrounded by division and acrimony. Sharing your opinions about your gaming preferences has become a flashpoint. So how did we get here? How did a fun hobby get surrounded by so much anger? Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Time out. So, again, I don't know how long any of you guys have been gaming, but do not get it twisted. And let's not lie here, right? Let's not lie here. Gamers have always been fighting, okay? There's always been anger. There's always been meltdowns. There's always been all kinds of stuff. You guys have known that we have spoken about the history of gaming for a while. I myself have experienced a multitude of different legendary arguments over the last 20 plus years. You know, it's not to say that this has been happening since the dawn of time. The only difference now is that we have social media and it's a lot more noticeable and recognizable. But let's not get it twisted. This has been happening forever. Okay. I don't want to lie about that.
I love making games. I love game developers. I love playing games. I want the industry to thrive. And in some ways, the industry is okay. There are many games that are doing just fine. But as many of you have pointed out, we also have a culture war raging around gaming, and it's destroying some of our favorite franchises and studios. There are several...
I don't know what she means by that, because the culture war is not destroying the franchises and studios. The studios are destroying the franchises and studios. The culture war can't destroy anything, right? The culture war is only an effect. It only exists because the studios are fucking up. So if anything's destroying the studios, it's the studios. It's not the culture war. The culture war was born from what the studios was doing, and born mainly from what the access media and journalism was doing. That's really what it is, right? It's the access media. It's the circle jerk that pisses off a lot of people. And the fact that everybody's just being so goddamn dishonest that it just drives people insane. So,
for reasons we are here today, and like many things, what you'll find at the heart is a series of small steps by good people with a few bad actors mixed in. If you look back in gaming history, you will find that controversial content is not new. Games have always had strong narratives. This is because games start as ideas that are eventually translated into digital form. Teams start by gathering reference material from the world around them to help define what is in their mind. They pull from the lore of a franchise, sometimes history, current events, movies, other games. Games are creative dialogue on what has been and what might be, and reference material has a narrative. It has a perspective. It's easy to see this if you read a history book, because you will hear wildly different opinions on what happened based on where you grew up. Game developers naturally end up exploring themes and ideas based on what inspires them, and I would argue that's a good thing. Developers should be exploring and innovating, but they need to understand where they are. They need to understand their risk, because even though strong narratives in games hasn't changed, what appeals to the broadest audience possible has narrowed. It's easy to alienate large groups of people if expectations aren't met, and this is what I think happened with Dragon Age. They made an expensive game that didn't appeal to a large part of their current fan base. That means they lost sales, and now they have to go out and acquire new fans if they want to make their money back, or at least make enough money so that EA lets them make another game.
Correct. However, I think she kind of ignores the fact that they don't really care if it makes all of its money back before they give them another game. Right, because I genuinely believe, and I've said this many times over on SNH, that I think EA genuinely just wants to get 2 mainstay titles from BioWare before they just shut them down. Like, they want that in their catalog. They want to be able to say, EA has Mass Effect 4 in their catalog and Dragon Age Veilguard in their catalog. They want to be able to say that. Right. So I feel like that's more important for them, the legacy and the name, more so than whether or not it makes money. Because if they really were worried about money, then they wouldn't have gone with such a divisive way of not only marketing their game, but just the way that they made the game in general. They already knew that they were putting in ideologies that were going to piss off a lot of people. They already knew that, but they chose to ignore it. They chose to say, nah, fuck it. Do it anyway. Fuck the gamers. They don't mean anything. Our Dragon Age name is way bigger than what the gamers can complain about. That's really what they thought. They thought they were too big to fail. And then they realized very quickly, well, that's not the case. It doesn't matter how much people loved you in the past. It doesn't matter at all. Right? So you had the opportunity to take that shit out of the game, or you had the opportunity to at least put it in there softer like you used to in your previous games. See, nobody's telling you take your progressive ideologies out of the fucking game completely. I'm sure there are some people that are saying that. But ultimately, it's more about being light-handed. You guys used to be able to tell amazing stories while also introducing sometimes progressive or sometimes right-leaning themes as well. But now you're so goddamn hard-fisted with it that you're incapable of putting the story first. You put your ideology first, and that's where people just go crazy. Anyway.
For me, it's been interesting to watch this change in the industry. Game publishers used to put in extra effort to avoid offending people. They wanted to make games that would appeal to the broadest possible audience. Microsoft, for example, was very risk-averse. I remember when Terminal Reality was doing the second version of their game, Fury Cubed, and they wanted to call it Hellbender. Well, marketing was upset. They were worried that putting the word hell in the name of a game next to the Microsoft logo was going to damage the brand. And so that team had to go to Bill Gates in order to get approval. I experienced this caution personally when I was producing the game Fighter Ace. I was asked to demo it at a Microsoft shareholders meeting. During rehearsal, I said that I was going to jump in the game and shoot down some people. Everyone freaked out. The executives thought that language was too edgy for Microsoft shareholders. And instead, they asked me to say I was shooting at targets.
Oh, come on. You serious, man? And you know what? I do believe that, though. I absolutely do believe that, though. Where they watch every little word. Like, oh, no, you can't say you're going to shoot people down. No. I mean, YouTubers do the same thing all the time. Even when they're talking about something that has nothing to do with Minecraft, they're like, yeah, in Minecraft. You know what I mean? Like, they gotta say that, because otherwise it's ridiculous what people will try to do to you. You know, so I do believe it. And it's not shocking, especially at the level that she was playing at. You guys got to understand, she's not some low developer. I mean, she was up there in a lot of the studios she worked at.
Then there was that time we were in the final days of making Deadly Tide, and someone noticed there was a problem. You see, if you slow this down and you look closely, You'll find that New Zealand was
If you want, I'll put it to you like this. If you really want to understand the difference in ideology from old school gaming to new school gaming, and this can be seen all throughout corporate America. If you really want to see the difference, just think about one mission in Call of Duty that would never fucking even remotely exist today. And that's obviously No Russian, right? No Russian would never get made today. No Russian wouldn't even get close to even being thought of today. So No Russian is a great example of what the ideology was in gaming, not even just a few years ago. You know, it really wasn't that long ago when you think about it versus now. You know, no, is that the airport part? Yes, that's the airport part where you literally mow down fucking civilians, just like cold-blooded mow down civilians. It's not even like there's no way to sugarcoat it. That's literally what happens. You get out the elevator and you fuck shit up. So it's a totally different mindset from back then to now. And you could tell just by looking at those things, it's like light years different.
was just left off the world map. Of course, Microsoft New Zealand noticed and asked us to fix the problem. But after a lengthy discussion, the team decided to pass. They didn't think people would notice, and if they did, Microsoft could just tell them it's sunk in this fictional world. There was also that time when all the Microsoft distributors in Turkey were arrested because Encarta 95 had released with a map that included an area for Kurdistan. That one did get fixed. Of course,
What does that say? Of course, we offended Kurds by doing this, but we had offended the Turks more, and they were a much more important market for our products. It was a hard commercial decision, not political.
Microsoft was a good company. They didn't want people getting arrested.